In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was in the beginning with God. All things were made through him, and without him nothing was made that was made.
For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believes in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. For God did not send his Son into the world to condemn the world, but that the world through him might be saved.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show. How are you doing this fine Sunday evening in October? This is Untethered Live, and you are watching Bible Study. More specifically, we call it the Deep End. And why do we call it that? Because we go right off the edge into the wild blue yonder, into the great unknown, into the abyss, into the things not known but hoped for, and look for answers. We look for understanding. We look for clarity. And sometimes we find it. That's what we're doing here tonight. We are in the great book of Genesis. We were in chapter 47, verse 25. That's where we are. That's where we left off last week. That's where we're going to pick up tonight and see how much further we can get into this book. Might even reach the end of it. Who knows? Stranger things have happened. Anyway, it's been a great week for me. I had a show last night in Washington, North Carolina, colloquially known as Little Washington, because, well, it's smaller than the big one. And that makes sense, right? Only in North Carolina. Anyway, it was a good show, good turnout. Had lots of people there. Made little video clips of the events throughout the night. And what little bit I could film of the show, I did, but I was playing the show while holding a camera. That's not very conducive to doing a good job, so I couldn't do that but just once. Anyway, got a little something. Nothing to me, but whatever. It's a team sport, right? So I was pretty pleased with it. Made a good chunk of change last night. Got a big tip to play Achy Breaky Heart, of all things. Somebody paid us $100 to play Achy Breaky Heart. Can I say that the alcohol was especially good last night? I wouldn't pay $100 to even listen to that song, let alone have somebody play it. That's like 2 levels of shame. But I played it because I'm a song slut. I'll play anything for $1. That's what I do for a living, so hey, no shame there. Anyway, what else do I do for a living? Sometimes I teach the Word of God, and that's what we're doing tonight. No music talk, no shop talk, just Bible. I hope you're doing well out there. Hope you're not too cold. The weather's changing quite drastically. Global warming? No, it's just wintertime, and it's getting cold. And when you ride motorcycles, cold matters. So put on layers if you happen to be one of my fellow riders. Put on lots of layers and keep yourself safe and don't hit any deer because they're out there, I promise. Drive slow. It's worth it. Tonight, we're going to be continuing the story of Joseph in Egypt, who built storehouses to protect the Egyptians from the famine that lasted for 7 years. And as a result of that forethought and the ability to plan ahead and save some food for the other guys, Egypt ended up being the biggest country in the world, the most powerful country in the world, because they had all the food. And everybody else quickly ran out of money buying their food, so then they started trading land and properties and stuff for food. So not only did Egypt become the biggest country in the world, but the richest with the most land, and expanded their borders like crazy, bringing Egypt into the golden age, or what we call the golden age in modern antiquity. And they got that slightly wrong, but the ideas are there. They just have them in the wrong order, but it's okay. Everybody can't be right. So Egypt becomes this great big monopoly in the world, and all kinds of corruption ensues because of that, but not with Joseph. Joseph was a good dude, and we're going to learn a little bit more about him tonight, so see how that works. Who's with me? Got some people in the chat? Hello, people in the chat. Welcome to the show. I'm just going to shoot the breeze for a minute until we get there. Hey, I see a wandering hippie. What's happening, wandering hippie? Smash that like button, he says. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. How are you doing? How's your show going? Pardon me. I'm a little bit hoarse because I was out all night singing last night. Peace. Peace to you too, my brother. I hope you're doing well. I hope things are going good in your life. I hope you're happy and fat and have lots of money. That's what I hope for everybody. Happy, fatness, and richness. And that somebody's putting all the big hickeys on you. So, you been busy? Good. Busy is good. Busy means money. Sometimes. It's supposed to. But I'm glad you're here. I wrote a little op-ed this weekend. Caucasian Sasquatch did a short video, YouTube short, and he asked the question, Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. How many pecks of pickled peppers did Peter Piper pick? That's what I want to know. That's what the video said, and it triggered me. If you know me, you know I'm a little bit neurotic, and sometimes things affect me in ways that you can't imagine, and that did. So I spent the better part of 20 hours responding to that video, and I wrote a little op-ed. So if you get a chance to go by and check it out, I think you'll love it. It's lots of quality entertainment in that piece. And there's really no place to put my writing because I'm not a professional writer. I just write occasionally. So unless I started a daily blog or something, there's really no place to put it. But I like to put it in people's videos because everybody gets to see it and, provide a little entertainment. That's good. So check that out if you get a chance. It's quite interesting. You know that Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers is a tongue twister. It is designed to teach you how to speak fluidly without tripping over your tongue. That's what tongue twisters are for. And they're designed to teach you how to use plosives properly, which is the p sound when you're speaking into a microphone. You know, rubber baby buggy bumpers and that sort of thing. I know you've heard people say things like that before. But anyway, I decided to write a better, longer tongue twister. And I wrote an entire story using only the letter P for every word, except for bywords and articles, that lead to other words. But every noun, every verb, every subject, every object, every adverb, every dangling participle starts with the letter P. You try that if you think that's easy. It's hard to do. Go read my piece. You'll find out. I think you'll love it, though. It's very funny. And it'll give Caucasian Sasquatch another view if you hadn't already watched his video. So go check that out. But not right now, because right now we're talking Bible stuff. And as soon as April gets here, we'll get started. Hey, there's a Caucasian. I was just talking about you. Alliteration. Yeah, it's alliterated, all right. Did you read it? What'd you think? I noticed you didn't respond to it. Wow, too smart for me. Well, it ain't about smartness. It's just about having fun. The whole thing is supposed to be funny, so whatever. It's my attempt at uber sarcasm. You know what I mean? That's an art form in itself, sarcasm. And I try to take it to the next level and be super sarcastic. All in the attempt of saying, I'm being silly, but in a overly heady way. And to some people, that's humorous. You got to run. Well, I didn't leave when you got here. Well, take care. Be good to yourself. Don't do nothing I wouldn't do. Anyway, Caucasian, it's 20 hours of my life. Least you could do is leave a comment. So, tonight, as I said, we're in the book of Genesis, chapter 47, verse 25, I think I said. What is it? 47:25, that's right. That's what we'll be doing tonight. I'm just waiting on the crew to get here. It's 8:12. We'll go 2 more minutes and I'll get started. I'm a little hoarse tonight because I did a show last night and did a lot of singing. So my voice is stressed out. But that's all right. Don't take much to talk. He says as he takes a long drag off of another cigarette. How's your day going, Caucasian? You have a good day? Hope all is well with you. I've noticed you putting out a lot of videos over the weekend. I hadn't had a chance to watch them all yet, but I've noticed them. I looked. I saw it. Proud of you. Good work ethic. Builds character. Puts hair on your chest. We had a pretty good crowd last night. I don't know how many people were there, but it was enough to fill up the little bar we were in. And they were very responsive, all up close to the stage. You know, I like it when they do that because it feels like you're doing something, as opposed to when they just ignore you being there altogether. And I got lots of compliments, and I even got one of these. Can't read it. Anyway, that's a music promoter that does the blues festival circuit. And he came up to me during a break and gave me his card and told me to give him a call. He had plans. So I hear that a lot. But in the event that it's a real thing, I will call him this week and see what he's got up his sleeve. And be nice to get involved in the blues circuit. Hey, Caucasian, how you doing tonight? I asked that already. Everything going well with you? Anyway, it's 8:15, so we might as well get going. All who's coming will come. You can, of course, press that like button and subscribe button if you haven't done so already, and check out this video anywhere podcasts are downloaded. That's Spotify, iTunes, Amazon Prime, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Outcast, Overcast, Pocket Casts, Radio Republic. You name it, it's there. Go check it out. I figured out how to do lots of short, super easy ... videos. I assume that's what you're talking about, but that's good. I'm glad that you're making use of the platform. I do some shorts, but I don't have a whole lot of short type content, so it's hard for me to find things to short about. But I do some, mostly cat videos. Those seem to be popular. That's my secret weapon, by the way, cat videos. We're just about, if we haven't done so already, we're just about to break 300 subscribers, which is good for a small Christian channel. We're growing and growing. I edit a big video and upload in private, then use create button to make it a short. Interesting. I've been wanting to make clips out of my videos. The only way I know to do it is to go through each video and cut out parts that I like, but that means me having to watch the whole video, and that takes hours. So, use your previous footage, yeah. Because there's lots of places in the long videos that I do where there's clever, witty things that I say that need to be a little short instead of a long video. So one of these days, probably next summer when I get some time off, I'm probably going to go through them and make a bunch of little clips but I got to have a pretty large block of time to do that. Anything to make it easier. And less time consuming. Alrighty, let's go down, shall we? Check, check, check. Can you hear me now? I did stop. I think I fixed it. Can you hear me now? Hello, hello, hello. Can you hear me? Yes or no? What about now? Can you hear me now? Good. Okay. All right. Sorry about that, folks. My sound crapped out. Apparently, I needed to put a reference to my microphone in this new screen. This is a new system, so forgive me for the crappiness. I will fix it as quickly as possible. Anyway, take 2. Genesis chapter 47, verse 25. And they said, Thou hast saved our lives. Let us find grace in the sight of my Lord, and we will be Pharaoh's servant. Imagine that. You feed somebody, and they come right up to you and want to be your servant. It's almost like they can't get food anywhere else. And Joseph made it a law over the land of Egypt unto this day that the Pharaoh should have a 5th part. That's 1/5 of everything you make, except the land of the priests, which became not Pharaoh's. You see, even back then, thousands of years ago, they knew that church and state should be separate. I wonder where we got it from. And Israel dwelt in the land of Egypt, in the country of Goshen, and they had possessions therein, and grew and multiplied exceedingly. And Jacob lived in the land of Egypt for 17 years. So the whole age of Jacob was 147 years. 147-year-old man living in Egypt, just living his best life. Amazing. And the time drew near that Israel must die. That's Jacob, Israel. Not the place, but the person. And he called upon his son Joseph, and said unto him, If now I have found grace in thy sight, put, I pray thee, thy hand under my thigh. That means pick me up and hold me close. Not a sexual thing. And deal kindly and truly with me. Bury me not, I pray thee, in Egypt, Let me be buried where I came from. I don't want to be buried in Egypt. Why it matters where you're buried is beyond me, because you're dead. It doesn't matter to you. But some people have that feeling, and he had that feeling. This is Isaac, Jacob's father, whose name was changed to Israel. But I will lie with my fathers, and thou shalt carry me out of Egypt, and bury me in their burying place. And he said, I will do as thou hast asked, or hast said. You could make biblical quotes. Yeah, that's a good idea. And he said, swear unto me. And he sware unto him. And Israel bowed himself upon the bed's head. And it came to pass after these things that one told Joseph, behold, thy father is sick. And he took with him his 2 sons, Manasseh and Ephraim. And one told Jacob, and said, behold, thy son Joseph cometh unto thee. I said Isaac, didn't I? I meant Jacob. I apologize about that. That's a mistake on my part. Isaac is Jacob's father. Jacob is Joseph's father. I get those confused sometimes, but you get the idea. I'm just messing up all over the place tonight. Y'all have to slow down. Slow down, people. Making this tired old man crazy. And one told Jacob and said, behold, thy son Joseph cometh unto thee. And Israel strengthened himself and sat upon the bed. And Jacob said unto Joseph, God Almighty appeared unto me at Luz in the land of Canaan, and blessed me, and said unto me, behold, I will make thee fruitful and multiply thee, and I will make of thee a multitude of people, and I will give this land to thy seed after thee for an everlasting possession. That means you'll have it forever. No one will ever be able to conquer you or take it from you. And so it has been and is to this very day. Those people are still in possession of those lands. And now thy 2 sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, which were born unto thee in the land of Egypt, before I came unto thee there and into Egypt, they're mine, as Reuben and Simeon shall be mine. Meaning that he has taken them under his possession so that he can leave them the inheritance of the land. See, in those days, if you didn't come from the family, you weren't part of the family. And when Joseph went into Egypt, he obviously married outside of the family and had children. But because Joseph was so good to his family, Jacob decided to make them part of the inheritance, thereby capturing his whole family under that Abrahamic promise that God made, that covenant between that family and God. And so now Joseph's children, Manasseh and Ephraim, are both, and Reuben and Simeon are both under that same umbrella. So they get the inheritance also, so their families will propagate into that multitude of people that God promised him. And thy issue, which thou begettest after them, shall be thine, and shall be called after the name of their brethren in their inheritance. So, what he's saying is any children you have from now on, that's your business. That's your inheritance. But the first several children that you had, right now before I die, the amount of kids you have now will be under my inheritance. Now, any kids you have after this, after I die, it'll be up to you to leave them an inheritance. They won't be captured under this same umbrella. So I guess that's fair. I mean, you can't provide for every damn body. And as for me, when I came from Padan, Rachel died by me in the land of Canaan in the way, when yet there was but a little way to come into Ephrath, and I buried her there in the way of Ephrath. The same as Bethlehem, by the way. Ephrath would later be called Bethel, and then later after that called Bethlehem, meaning the peace in the land, or something about peace anyway. And Israel beheld Joseph's sons and said, Who are these? And Joseph said unto his father, These are my sons. Don't you remember? You were just talking about them. These are my sons, whom God hath given me in this place. And he said, Bring them, I pray thee, unto me, and I will bless them. Hey, there's April. I was wondering if you were coming tonight. Glad you're here. Now the eyes of Israel were dim of age, so that he could not see. That happens when you get old. I'm going through that now. I can barely see. And he brought them near unto him, and he kissed them and embraced them. And Israel said unto Joseph, I had not thought to see thy face, and lo, God hath showed me also thy seed. I didn't even think I was going to get to see you, but I get to see my grandkids too. That's pretty sweet. Now I get to die. And Joseph brought them out from between his knees and bowed himself with his face to the earth. I don't know if you've ever hugged anybody while you were sitting down, but that's how you do it. So don't read into that. It's not anything weird. That's just the way they're describing what happened. And Joseph took them both, Ephraim in his right hand towards Israel's left hand, and Manasseh in his left hand towards Israel's right hand. Everybody got that? And brought them near unto him. And Israel stretched out his right hand and laid it upon Ephraim's head, who was the younger, and his left hand upon Manasseh's head, guiding his hands wittingly, for Manasseh was the firstborn. Remember this. Ephraim and Manasseh are the two twins that were born. Manasseh came out, and they tied a red ribbon around his foot. But then he went back in, and the other one came out. So technically, one is the firstborn while the other is the older, if that makes any sense. Weird. Anyway. And he blessed Joseph and said, God, before whom my father Abraham and Isaac did walk, the God which fed me all my life long unto this day, the angel which redeemed me from all evil, bless the lads, and let my name be named on them, and the name of my fathers Abraham and Isaac, and let them grow into a multitude in the midst of the earth. And when Joseph saw that his father laid his right hand upon the head of Ephraim, it displeased him. And he held up his father's hand to remove it from Ephraim's head unto Manasseh's head. You don't think the old man knows what he's doing there, Joseph? You can't force a blessing. He had it aimed at one kid. You can't redirect it to the other kid. That's not how blessings work. Whew. Fathers and their favorites. And Joseph said unto his father, Not so, my father, for this is the firstborn. Put thy right hand upon his head. And his father said, you mean the one that went back in the womb? And then the other one came out? That's not firstborn. That's secondborn after firstborn. Second. Or some such. Anyway. His father refused and said, I know it, my son, I know it. He also shall become a people, and he also shall be great. But truly his younger brother shall be greater than he, and his seed shall become a multitude of nations. And he blessed him that day, saying, In thee shall Israel bless, saying, God, make thee as Ephraim and as Manasseh. And he set Ephraim before Manasseh. Well, I guess that's justice. You need to call Jerry Springer into some of these kind of things. Lost my place. Hang on. And Israel said unto Joseph, Behold, I die, but God shall be with you, and bring you again unto the land of your fathers. Moreover, I have given to thee one portion above thy brethren, which I took out of the hand of the Amorites with my sword and with my bow. And Jacob called unto his sons and said, Gather yourselves together, that I may tell you that which shall befall you in the last days. Gather yourselves together and hear, ye sons of Jacob, and hearken unto Israel your father. Well, it may have displeased him that his sons got the wrong blessing according to the way he thinks, but he is smart enough to know that his dad's probably right, because he lived through the moments that started all of this stuff that's happening now. And so he tells his sons what's coming, as all parents should do with their children. Inform them of what the future holds them, and don't lie to them and tell them everything's going to be okay and they can be anything they want to be. Tell them how it really is. Tell them they need to put their nose in this book every day, because the knowledge therein is the only thing that will keep them on the straight path. Reuben, thou art my firstborn, my might, and the beginning of my strength, the excellency of dignity and the excellency of power, unstable as water. Thou shalt not excel. Whoops. Because thou wentest up to thy father's bed, then defiledst thou it. He went up to my couch. I don't know what that means. I guess he's referring to the fact that Jacob blessed the wrong baby in his eyes. He blessed Manasseh, not the other one, Ephraim. But he's talking to Reuben, so that doesn't matter. I don't know what Reuben did at his father's bed because it didn't say. Apparently, he smarted off to him or something. Who knows? Anyway, he calls it defiling it. Maybe he peed on his dad. Who knows? I don't know what happened. Anyway, he went up to my couch. Couch could mean two or three things. I'm thinking it means what it says, couch. But it could mean, stuck between two different things, couched in the middle. I don't know. Simeon and Levi are brethren. Instruments of cruelty are in their habitations. O my soul, come not thou into their secret, unto their assembly, mine honor. Be not thou united, for in their anger they slew a man, and in their self-will they digged down a wall. Maybe that's what he's referring to. These two kids, Reuben and Simeon, are bad dudes. Maybe that's what he's saying. It's kind of weird how he put it, but he kind of put the cart before the horse there, I think. But I'm guessing that's what he's talking about. I could be wrong. If anybody in the chat knows better, let me know. That's one that slipped by me there. Simeon and Levi are brethren, instruments of cruelty. I read that. Cursed be their anger, for it was a fierce, and their wrath, for it was cruel. I will divide them in Jacob and scatter them in Israel. Judah, thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise. Well, that makes sense. Judah is the the king line. So yeah, they'll be praised. Thy hand shall be in the neck of thine enemies, and thy father's children shall bow down before thee. That's what you do with a king. You bow down before him. Judah is a lion's whelp, for they pray, my son, thou art gone up. He stooped down. He couched as a lion, or crouched as a lion. There's that word again, couched. Maybe that means crouched in this language. Maybe that's what he meant up there. He went up to my crouch. Went up to me while I was kneeling down. I don't know. That's a weird little verse there, 49:3. Again, if anybody knows the answer to that, let me know, because the way I'm reading it, it seems like he was talking about the problem before he told us what the problem was. Anyway. Couched. He couched as a lion, as an old lion, who shall rouse him up. The scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor a lawgiver from between his feet unto Shiloh come. And unto him shall the gathering of the people be. So in other words, Judah is going to be the one responsible for gathering all the people together and ruling over them as one. And you'll find evidence of that later on in the book, where several times the groups, the 12 tribes, would separate and go their separate ways, and one or two of them would bring the others back together until there were only 2 tribes, 10 on one side and 2 on the other side. Remember, we talked about that years ago. Anyway, eventually, which has not happened yet to this day, eventually all 12 tribes will come back together, symbolic as a breaking stick being put back together. And when that happens, that's the signal of the end of Daniel's 40 weeks, or 70 weeks rather, mentioned in the book of Daniel, which is the beginning of the tribulation, the beginning of the end, as it were. So when you see Israel come back together as a nation where all 12 tribes are reunited, that's when you need to start worrying. Binding his foal unto the vine, and his ass colts unto the choice vine. He washed his garments in wine, and his clothes in blood of grapes, meaning they're purple, by the way. That means royalty. Washing his clothes in wine is how they would dye clothing in those days. And in the blood of grapes, which means grape juice, which means purple. Purple signifies royalty, because only royal people could afford purple, because making something purple was very expensive. His eyes shall be red with wine, and his teeth white with milk, meaning fat and sassy. So he'll be a very wealthy, very rich, very powerful, but bored king. Zebulun shall dwell at the haven of the sea, and he shall be for an haven of ships, and his border shall be unto Zidon. Issachar is a strong ass couching down between 2 burdens. An ass between 2 burdens. Is that like a rock in a hard place? I don't know. And he saw that the rest was good, and the land that was pleasant, and the land that it was pleasant, and bowed his shoulder to bear, and became a servant under tribute, meaning he bowed to his own children, child specifically, the child Judah, to prove that he's the king. Even the father would bow to the king who is his son. Dan shall judge his people as one of the tribes of Israel, because the tribe of Dan are the judges in this area. Dan shall be a serpent by the way, an adder in the path, that biteth the horse heels, so that his rider shall fall backwards. I have waited for thy salvation, O Lord. Gad, a troop shall overcome him, but he shall overcome at the last. And out of Asher his breed shall be fat, and he shall yield royal dainties. Dainties are frilly things, pretty little frilly things. In other words, he'll be effeminate, or not so masculine. Let's say it that way. Naphtali is the hind let loose, or the deer let loose, or cow let loose. He giveth goodly words. He speaks good. Joseph is a fruitful bow, or bough, even a fruitful bough by the well, whose branches run over the wall. That's a very healthy fruit tree. The archers have sorely grieved him, and shot at him, and hated him, but his bow abode in strength, and the arms of his hands were made strong by the hands of the mighty God of Jacob. From thence is the shepherd, the stone of Israel, even by the God of thy father, who shall help thee, and by the Almighty, who shall bless thee with blessings of heaven above, blessings of the deep that lieth under, blessings of the breasts and of the womb. It means he's going to get all the hotties. And blessings of thy father have prevailed above the blessings of my progenitors, unto the uttermost bound everlasting, bound of the everlasting hills. I need to read further ahead. Let me read that again. Prevailed above the blessings of my progenitors unto the utmost bound of the everlasting hills. They shall be on the head of Joseph, and on the crown of the head of him that was separate from his brethren. That would be Joseph. Benjamin shall raven as a wolf. In the morning he shall devour the prey, and at night he shall divide the spoil. All these are the 12 tribes of Israel, and this is it that their father spake unto them, and blessed them. Every one according to his blessings he blessed them. And he charged them, saying, or he said unto them, I am to be gathered unto my people. Bury me with my fathers in the cave that is in the field of Ephron the Hittite. That's where Sarah is buried. And Abraham, by the way. In the cave that is in the field of Machpelah, which is before Mamre in the land of Canaan, which Abraham bought with the field of Ephron the Hittite for possession of the burying place. There they buried Abraham and Sarah his wife, and also they buried Isaac and Rebekah his wife. And there I buried Leah, and that's where I want to be buried. That's what he's saying. My whole family's there, so that's where I want to be buried. You do with your body what you want. I want to be buried in that cave. Even though it's a long way from here, y'all are just going to have to make do and carry me on a horse or something. The purchase of the field and of the cave that is therein was from the children of Heth. And when Jacob had made an end of commanding his sons, he gathered up his feet into the bed and yielded up the ghost, and was gathered unto his people. And Joseph fell upon his father's face and wept upon him and kissed him. Man, how awesome and terrible must that be to sit there and watch your parent leave right in front of you. I was lucky enough to be holding my mom's hand when she passed away, and I saw the spirit leave her, and I commanded that her spirit be taken into God's arms over her dead body. And I can tell you from experience, that is a traumatic, painful moment in life, but I wouldn't trade it for the world. I'm so glad I wasn't elsewhere when it happened, that I could be right there by her side. And the family gathered around, and my children close by. That's a beautiful thing. So I can sympathize with Joseph here. And Joseph commanded his servants, the physicians, to embalm his father, and the physicians embalmed Israel. Maybe that was a practice they did earlier than that. I thought it was unusual for him to be embalmed, but apparently they've been doing it for a while because he had physicians that knew how to do it. And 40 days were fulfilled for him. For so are fulfilled the days of those which are embalmed, and the Egyptians mourned for him for 70 days. That's 70 days they mourned for the loss of Joseph's father, or for the love of Joseph. Now, in those days, it took 40 days to embalm a body. It wasn't like you could just hook them up to a machine and suck out all the stuff and replace it with the embalming fluid. In those days, it was a lengthy process which involved removing the organs and draining the blood and cleaning the carcass and wrapping it with, what's the word? Salty substance. I can't think of what it is. It's salt. Basically, it's salt. Naphtha. I can't think of what it is. Anyway, they would wrap it in a honey base and this salty substance, which would dry out the flesh and render it to stop decaying. And then they would wrap it tightly with binding, kind of like what you would picture a mummy to look like. And that's how they would keep the body fresh and preserved. And some would display those bodies for years and years because once they dried out, you could display them and the air wouldn't cause them to decay. as long as they were in a dry room and not too much heat or moisture got to them, they'd last for a very long time. But Christians have always been the people that buried their dead in tombs and later into the ground. But for him to be embalmed, that's a very Egyptian thing to do. That's not what most Christians would do in those days. So apparently Joseph wanted to preserve his father for some reason. Maybe as a symbol to his people, maybe so that they could go back and visit him and remember the promises he made. I don't know. All I know is it's unusual for a Christian to embalm the dead in those days. It's not a typical practice. So he did that. Plus, you got to figure he was raised in Egypt since he was a little boy. He's got an Egyptian education. So it may just be that that's the way he thinks it's supposed to be done. I don't know. And when the days of his mourning were past, Joseph spake unto the house of Pharaoh, saying, If now I have found grace in your eyes, speak, I pray you, into the ears of Pharaoh, saying, My father made me swear, saying, Lo, I die in my grave, which I have digged for me in the land of Canaan. There shalt thou bury me. Now therefore let me go up, I pray thee, and bury my father, and I will come again. Keep in mind that even though the Pharaoh has made Joseph number 2 in the whole land, powerful only to the Pharaoh is only higher than him. No one else in the land is higher than Joseph in terms of authority. Even though he's been set up basically like a king and actually wears the Pharaoh's ring on his right hand, which is symbolic of being in the place of Pharaoh when Pharaoh's not there. That's how much power and authority he gave Joseph. Even though all of that is true, Joseph is still a prisoner. He was brought out of jail and he was remained under the cognizance of the Pharaoh. So he is basically under house arrest and released under his own recognizance to the Pharaoh. So he's asking for permission to leave the country, which is his chance to escape if he wants to, I suppose. Let's see how much the Pharaoh really values him. Will he give him the permission? Will he let him go and bury his father in Canaan, trusting that he'll come back and fulfill his duties, which has made Egypt rich, by the way? It's not a thing that Egypt wants to let go of, I assure you. And Pharaoh said, without hesitation, he said, Go up and bury thy father according as he has made thee swear. And that's what Joseph did. He went up to bury his father. And with him went up all the servants of Pharaoh, the elders of his house, and all the elders of the land of Egypt, and all the house of Joseph, and his brethren, and his father's house. Only their little ones, and their flocks, and their herds, they left in the land of Goshen. The whole troop went with Joseph to bury his father. All of the elders, all of the brothers, all of the strong men, everybody. Pharaoh sent the whole shebang with them. That's respect, by the way. Pharaoh would have sent his army if he'd have wanted it, I promise you. Joseph and Pharaoh were best friends, and Pharaoh trusted Joseph implicitly. That's a pretty powerful bond that the two of them shared. And there went up with him both chariots and horsemen, and it was a very great company. I mean, a big parade of people went with Joseph to bury his dad. And they came to the threshing floor of Atad, which is beyond Jordan, and there they mourned with a great and very sore lamentation. And he made a mourning for his father for 7 days. I guess they're not in a hurry, by the way. And when the inhabitants of the land, the Canaanites, saw the mourning in the floor of Atad, they said, This is a grievous mourning to the Egyptians. Wherefore the name of it was called Abel Mizraim, which is beyond Jordan. Abel Mizraim. Abel being the firstborn of Adam, and Mizraim being what it sounds like, misery. Not in so many words, but this place before Jordan is a great place of mourning for the Egyptians, is why they named it that. And his sons did unto him according as he commanded them. For his sons carried him into the land of Canaan and buried him in the cave of the field of Machpelah, which Abraham bought with the field for a possession of the burying place of Ephron the Hittite before Mamre. And Joseph returned into Egypt, and his brethren, and all that went up with him to bury his father. After he had buried his father, they went back to Egypt. So he kept his word. He didn't run for the hills. He went right back to Egypt. Probably a good move, because anywhere he were to go, he wouldn't be as powerful as he was in Egypt, or as rich. So he had a good thing going on there. Of course he's coming back. And when Joseph's brethren saw that their father was dead, they said, Joseph will peradventure hate us, and will certainly requite us all the evil which we did unto him. Well, I don't think Joseph's that kind of dude, brothers. I think he's forgiven you. Maybe you should stop thinking about it too. I know you sold him into slavery when he was a child, and you did it for hateful reasons, to get rid of him, because he said he was going to be over you when he was grown, because he had a dream. And you wanted to kill him, by the way, so you probably deserve to be hated, but he's forgiven you, because that's what love does. Maybe you should accept it and appreciate it rather than being all suspicious all the time. And they sent a messenger unto Joseph, saying, Thy father did command before he died, saying, So shall ye unto Joseph forgive, I pray thee now, the trespass of thy brethren and their sin, for they did unto thee evil. And now we pray thee, forgive the trespass of the servants of the God of thy father. And Joseph wept when they spake unto him. Why did he cry? Because he has long since forgiven them. He never held a grudge against his brothers in the first place. The fact that they're even thinking about it is insulting to him. He's been so good to them. He's taken such good care of them as soon as they came to Egypt. He did play with them a little bit, but he always intended to take care of them, and he did so. By the way, their father never said any such thing. They totally made that up. So that's probably another reason, because Joseph was there when his father was speaking. He would have known if he said that. And his brethren also went and fell down before his face, and they said, Behold, we be thy servants. And he said, Behold, I told you that shit when I was a kid. Ha-ha! I was right, and you're on your knees. He didn't say that, but he should have said that. And likewise Joseph said unto them, Fear not, for I, in the place of God, for am I in the place of God? Question. What he's saying is I'm not your judge. You shouldn't be afraid of what I'm going to do to you, because I'm not here to judge you. That's what he's saying. But as for you, you thought evil against me, but God meant it unto good, to bring to pass, as it is this day, to save much people alive. Yes, you wanted to kill me because I was a little arrogant. But God saw the good in me, and he knew that putting me where I am would save a bunch of lives. Pretty much everybody's life. Because without me, everybody would have died of starvation long ago during this famine. But because of me, we've saved everybody. And that's God's doing. So you shouldn't be worried about it. This was out of your hands before you ever thought those thoughts. God had a plan, and you were just part of it. So don't worry about it. Move on with your life. Now, therefore, fear ye not. I will nourish you and your little ones. I'll take care of you. Because I'm not evil like you are. I'll make sure you're fed and your kids too. And he comforted them, and he spake kindly unto them. Even though they wanted to kill him and did sell him into slavery, this is him being compassionate to them. Imagine what kind of a man that has to be. And Joseph saw Ephraim's children of the third generation. Oh, I missed one. Sorry. And Joseph dwelt in Egypt, he and his father's house. And Joseph lived 110 years. And Joseph saw Ephraim's children of the third generation. The children also of Machir and the sons of Manasseh were brought up upon Joseph's knees. In other words, they were all presented to him for him to bless them. And Joseph said unto his brethren, I die, and God will surely visit you, and bring you out of this land unto the land which he sware to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob. And Joseph took an oath of the children of Israel, saying, God will surely visit you, and ye shall carry up my bones from hence. Now think about that. The bones of Joseph. Bones of Joseph. Seems like I remember something like that when the Hebrews were slaves to Egypt during the building of the pyramids and all that, when they were enslaved for 400 years. Think about that. They worshipped over the bones of Joseph. So apparently his bones were kept for a while there in Egypt, is all I'm saying. So Joseph died, being 110 years old, and they embalmed him, as is customary in Egypt, and he was put in a coffin in Egypt. So he was buried like a pharaoh, because commoners didn't get that kind of burial. And that is the end of the book of Genesis, ladies and gentlemen. And we will begin the book of Exodus tomorrow night and start anew and go through this thing one more time. And this time, we'll take our time and we'll get close by. We'll see if we can't get to the deeper meanings of things, because it's important. The first time through, we just read what it said. That's all. Very little input, very little digging deep. But this time, we're going to look up the words. We're going to look into the meanings of. We're going to dig into the definitions of. We're going to dig into the places where things were and all of that good stuff. This time around, we're going to dig deep and see if we can't unravel all of the mysteries that are therein in this book. I hope that this book touched your heart. I hope it blessed your soul. I hope it caused you to be curious and caused you to want to delve deeper into the book to learn more. I hope that for everybody, because learning seems to be the most important part of this whole process. Getting it in here. Because when you got it in here, then you understand what it is you're reading and you understand why you're here. And I think a lot of people struggle with that. And somebody needs to be here telling people what that something is, because if they can't find it for themselves, they're just going to struggle forever. Anyway, won't you do me a favor while we're sitting here chit-chatting about it? Hit that subscribe button and press the bell icon so you get notifications of when I'm going to be online and when my new videos drop. Smash that like button. It's free, effortless, and right in front of you, and it really does help the channel with the algorithms, and it helps us get recommended to other people. Share this video with those you love. Better yet, share it with people you don't love. Bring them into our family. Make them part of the fold. Be part of their solutions, not part of their problems. Leave comments down below. Let me know what you're thinking about. Question me, curse me, bless me, challenge me, confront me, conform me, drink my Kool-Aid, make your own Kool-Aid. As long as you're thinking critical, that's what I want. Critical thought coming from that brain of yours. And hey, if you love the Word of God and you can see the value in what it is I'm trying to create here, and you'd like to help out and be part of something special, if you'd like to contribute to the channel and help me make this thing work, you can do that. You can support my work by going to paypal.me/jakejohnsonband, or if you use CashApp, you can go to $JakeJohnsonBand. Every little bit helps. It's a win-win. It's a blessing to me. but it's a blessing to you too, because God notices these things. We do live in a reciprocal universe. Ask and ye shall be answered. Knock and the door shall be opened. Give and ye shall receive. Remember that? That's how it works. So keep that in mind as you think about sending tithes, offerings, or love offerings, or whatever it is you want to do, or just pat me on the back and say, hey, nice job, Jake. Either way, works for me. I'm gratefully appreciative, and I will do everything in my power to be worthy of your support. And with that, I will take your questions and comments. Hey, how was that? Did you learn anything? Did your brain feel like mayonnaise? Let me know what you're thinking. April says, let's all pray for each other tonight and every day. Let's all pray for our families, friends, and even the souls of people we don't know. Let's do it with our hearts humble. Faith. I love you all. That's a beautiful sentiment, April, and I appreciate that. And so does everybody else watching, whether they'll say it or not. They appreciate it because it's nice to know somebody's out there looking out for your best interests, even if you're not best friends. It's nice to know. April says, love and hit that like button. And the thumbs up. That is the like button. What are we talking about here? All right. I'm glad you guys had a good time tonight. Seems to be a slow night. That's okay. Lots of people are going to see this video over time, and I'm happy to have presented it. We did finish the entire Bible tonight. This is this. This is us. We finished. We made it all the way through. 66 books. Only took 3 years. And now we begin again, starting tomorrow night. Much love to everyone. Be happy, be positive. Just listen to Jake Johnson speak about the Bible. Amen. And music. Yes, yes, and yes. Love it, love it, love it. You appear to be the only person here. Did you know that? You may be the only person that cares about what I'm saying. Amazing. Can't win them all. Doesn't mean that I care any less or I'm going to do any less work. I'm in it for the long haul, baby. That means till the end, till I die. And you can bury my bones wherever you want to put them, because I don't care anymore. Everyone, don't forget, it's very important. You must always consider.
VJ, now I lay me down to sleep.
Mwah.
Pray the Lord my soul to keep.
I've been a good doggy.
If I die before I wake,
Put some kibbles and bits in my bowl.
my best friend.
I'm your best friend.
It all. VJ,
Say it loud, say it proud.
if I die before I
VJ.
wake.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. That's enough of that. I did that just for you. It's my own personal theme song. I didn't write it. I wish I did, but I didn't. So anyway, I had a good show last night. Good crowd. I was in rare form. Was playing my tail off last night. It was good stuff. Wish you could have saw it. And tonight, I went to Pizza Hut and got the new wrap. And it's basically a quesadilla, but because it's from Pizza Hut, they call it a wrap. It's pretty tasty. Pretty good stuff. But not very much of it there. It's only 2 pieces for $6.99. So I bought 2 of them for $13. 13 something. Amen. Support the channel, pretty please. Yes, ma'am. Anybody can support the channel. It doesn't take much. There's no price tag on it. Obviously, the show is free. And if you're getting something out of it, then good. That's why I'm doing it. But as is customary, you tithe where you're taught. If you feel like you're learning from me, then tithe here. If you feel like you're learning from some other church, then you tithe there. That is, if you can tithe. I do not want your money if it's all you got. If you don't have spare cash flow, then do not contribute. But if you do, I could use it. That's how it works. You give and I work. That's how it works. If you don't give, then I go hungry. But I still work. And it all comes out in the wash in the end. Tithe where you're taught. That's what I'm saying. If you feel like you're getting taught here, this is where you need to support. And I'm a firm believer in that. I tithe where I'm taught. You tithe where you're taught. Everybody helps everybody. It's a win-win. That's what meritocracy is. That's how capitalism works. And that's why socialism doesn't work. That's awesome. I saw a clip of it, of the show. Well, you saw a clip of me holding the camera while I was playing the guitar, so you didn't hear anything from me. You just saw a little clip. But that's the best I could do in the moment. I couldn't get anybody to hold the camera for me. But it was a pretty good night, though. We had a good time. And as far as shows go, it was a pretty decent one. There's a couple of times, though, I wish somebody would have had a camera on me because I was in rare form last night. I was playing some wild stuff. It sounded good, too. On my little Les Paul copy, my axe. It's actually called axe. That's the name of the guitar, so I don't call a guitar an axe. It is an axe. But it's a pretty guitar. It's kind of rust-colored. It's all kind of burnt-looking, like roasted wood. And everything on it's brass or copper. It's got copper gold leaf and stuff, or copper leaf in it. It's pretty nice. Well, Kevin is on the road, and on the road I've told him I don't know. Why we didn't get on, maybe because of traffic. It's okay, I'm praying. He gets well, and he is very careful. Much love, Kev. Translation. Kev is driving right now. That's why he wasn't here tonight. And he's also sick. But he's getting better, and he's very careful. So, much love. He'll get here when he gets here. I think that's what you were trying to say. Yes, that's okay. It was packed. It was packed. It was a good show. And they were all up close to the stage, and I like it when they do that. Everybody's standing up on the dance floor, rocking out. I enjoy that. That's when you can get personal with people. It doesn't feel like you're separated from them, you know. I like it intimate like that. I prefer that to a big concert. That way I can reach out and talk to individual people while I'm playing. Enjoy it. Lots of people I saw in the crowd, they were dancing and having fun. I enjoyed that. Well, thank you. I enjoyed it too. And there was a festival in town that day. And there was also a football game going on somewhere around there. So the fact that we had anybody there was amazing because everybody was exhausted from the day's events or at the football game. But we got a pretty good crowd. Jake, you nailed it, by the way. Yes. I can progressively translate talk text. Well, it is a beautiful night, and I hope that you're having a good one. Me too, I miss it so much. What, playing out? Yeah. You should go back and do it. That's all I can tell you. Just get out there and start playing. Got to start somewhere. Put your little band together and go out and do a little three-piece and play coffee houses and such. That'll get you started. All you need is a good drummer and a good guitar player and a halfway decent bass player, and you can go do it. You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you very much. One thing I need to get better at is filming the shows. I don't really have a way to do that because I don't have any extra people that can hold the camera. I used to have people that came to the shows with me, but they died. So it's just me now. And Sometimes I can grab the camera and hold it while there's a break where I ain't got to play nothing. But and LOL, very well, haha. Which is kind of what was going on there. It looked kind of crazy because I was holding the camera and playing the guitar. So every now and then I was holding the camera with my playing hand, so I had to flip over and play with my pinky while holding a camera. It's kind of funny. But I got a clip anyway. So, the next time I play, I think is in December. I don't know. I might have something in November. I hadn't looked at my calendar yet. And plus, the possibilities of getting booked could happen at any moment. So, but as for what I've got on the calendar right now, I think I got one in November and one in December. Not very thick in the shows these days. Christmas is coming around the corner fast as I can stand it. Maybe you can get an iPad or a video camera and put it on a stand. There you go. Yeah, I need to buy a stand. Get one of those phone holders. I can put my phone out there in the crowd and turn it on and run back to the stage. I could do that. It's cute. Well, I'll get better at it. I'm working on it. I still don't have my green screen up, by the way, so different little format here, but we're on the Mac. Everything's running and proper. And I think last night I figured out how to get sound from a website into OBS. So the next Wednesday, we'll be testing that out. So I think I figured it out, and I've downloaded some software and put it in, so I think I got it. It's pretty cool. The old desktop audio, which is elusive. A lot harder to make that transaction than you'd think. You'd think it'd be self-explanatory, but it's not, because OBS is self-contained. Anything outside of OBS does not come into OBS unless you direct it to do such. In OBS, the only thing is being captured is my camera and my microphone and nothing else. No interference from outside, so it's like its own self-contained little thing. And to get audio from a website to come into OBS is like an act of Congress. You need a whole set of software for that to happen. I think I figured it out, so we'll find out Wednesday. Nice. Yes, it's nice. It's a lazy Sunday. Fed my kitty cats today. Whether they like it or not. They're so cute. I got 3 little ones, one kind of a little one, and 2 mamas and a daddy cat running around outside. Lovely little kittens. I never thought I'd be a cat person. I don't even like cats. But I'm taking care of these. So, trying to show a little love in the world, you know. Be a good dude. And last night, while I was loading in, I started getting this pain in my arm. It was all up in my teeth, all on down my chest. I thought I was having a heart attack, but it went away. And then when I was loading out later that night, it happened again. And so I was wondering if I'm about to have a heart attack or if I just pulled a muscle. Either way, it sucked. It's kind of worrisome. But it went away too, so no problem, I guess. I could have almost had a heart attack. Who knows? It lasted about 10 minutes both times. It could have been an angina thing, you know. Who knows what it was, but it went away, so I'm not worried about it. If it comes back a third time, I'm going to go have it checked out. See what's up. I might be having heart disease or something. But if it don't come back, I ain't going to worry about it. Got too many other things to worry about. But I have been through a considerable amount of stress in the last 5 years, so it is possible that I'm having issues there. So if it comes back a third time, I will go to a doctor and have them check it out. And that coming from me is saying a lot because I don't like doctors. It's not my thing. All right, boys and girls. It is 9:17, a little early. We finished early, but we got to the end of the book, so there's no point in starting a new thing tonight. So we'll do that tomorrow night. So we're a little early. We're about 20 minutes off. But I'm going to call it a night and go to bed because I got to work in the morning. I love you guys with all of my heart. I really do. Honest to God, I do. I mean that. And you can come to me at any time, ask me any kind of question, and I'll do my very best to answer it. You can ask for my affection, and I'll do my very best to give it. You can ask for my love, and I'll do my very best to have it. But you can't ride my Harley. I don't care who you are. Other than that, I'm yours. I hope you have a great night. Much love. Kev's calling, okay? All right, will you answer that call, and I'll say good night, and I'll see you tomorrow night. Have a great night. Take care of yourselves and each other. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. And listen, when you go out into the world tomorrow, be nice to somebody. Go out of your way to show somebody other than yourself kindness and watch it change your life. I promise it will. You will begin to effervesce. Your spirit will start shining. And everybody will notice it. And maybe somebody might even mention it to you. Hey, man, you on a diet? What's going on with you? You smoking crack again? What's up? Whatever it is, they'll notice it. And they'll want to be part of it. And that will open doors that you never thought possible to be opened unto you. And it will change your life. Just by a simple act of kindness. Do it and watch it happen. Prove that God's words are true with every move you make, and your life will always be in your favor. Have a great night. I love you with all of my heart. Thanks for watching.